more about, because one of the things that I find so interesting about from your education to your career, you are a woman working in technology, but you didn't go the traditional path, similar to me. Like, I don't have a background in coding, I didn't go a programmer route. And I think that's one of the key things in order to get more diversity in tech in general, is that there's so many different ways that you can go. There's so many different avenues to do it, where you can work in an incredible industry, where you can have a great lifestyle and really have a life that you love, even beyond just the career aspect of it, which you've definitely done and you definitely exhibit. So tell me about, how would you have ever thought that you'd be working in technology? Would you have ever thought, and sort of, do you sort of feel also that in order to really encourage more people to become part of the tech industry, that we do need to show like all of these different ways and different possibilities that there are to be in tech?
So I think that one of the most important things, whether you're in tech or in any industry, is actually to stand up for yourself and to just really kind of not give a shit. I'm sorry, probably not supposed to say that. Really just not give it. Like I still remember that in Brazil, sometimes I would go to a meeting with Jonathan and they would actually think that I was the secretary.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
They would think that I was just, there to take notes. Or, in other countries, we'd go and I would just be there and they wouldn't talk to me. They would just talk to Jonathan. Mm-hmm. And then at first I was okay with it. Was weird. I was okay with it, but not okay with it. I didn't really know what to do. I was just like, and then I'm like, okay, no. And so I started to dress even girlier than I normally am. I'm quite tomboyish. So I would dress extremely girly, skirts, high heels, everything. And I would show up in these meetings and I was like, you're going to listen to me because I know what I'm talking about. So I sort of intruded I was like, sort of intruded in myself. Like I sort of opened the door and was like, I'm here. So let's get down to business. And I just took that mentality, and obviously it's hard to get to that mentality because there's a lot of people that just shy away. But I just, especially in an industry like mine where it's very male dominated, mm-hmm. I didn't have a choice. Like you either say to yourself, like, yeah, you sink or you swim.
Agreed.
And I didn't want to sink, so I decided to play the field right, and that is, very much tap into the whole emotional EQ. Jonathan's a lot more rational, a lot more. He comes from an engineering background, very techy, very, robotic almost. And I have like this, like, I know what you're going through. Don't worry, we will get there. So I decided to play that. And what actually happened was people just became more, they just wanted to start hearing from me more.
I think you said that perfectly, in that, I similarly had a same experience where I just didn't care about trying to be this something that I wasn't, basically. And it was like, you know what, I'm going to go in, I'm going to be me. If you're either going to like it or you're not going to like it, either way, I don't really care, and it's all right. So I would go to meetings, and, I was never going to be the most technical person in the room. I was never going to be the person who, was, had the background of, some engineering school and, all of these different patents under my belt and things like that. That was never going to be me. But you know what? I was extremely smart. I knew how to manage relationships. I knew how to think about things strategically, and I walked into a room and I knew my stuff. And I was going to not just sit there. I was going to stand up, voice my opinion. People didn't like it. Okay, fine. Yeah. But I think the most important thing was that I knew what my strengths were. I knew what I brought to the table, and I was going to show that in an authentic way. I was never going to try and be something that I'm not. And I found that that was even more appreciated. People appreciated that I was a people person. People appreciated that, you know, I had a different way of thinking about solutions that wasn't perhaps the most technical way of thinking about it, but it was thinking about it from a user perspective. Well, you know, how are people going to use it? Which totally drove in terms of the requirements and technology and what's going to be a useful solution to somebody. So absolutely, I think
you said it so much better than I did, but yes, exactly. But and
that's what it is. You got to just not care. I think so many people, I've seen it where, you know, people, they try and walk in and they try and be taken seriously, and I'm just going to walk in the room.
Exactly.
And I'm what I have to say, and I'm not going to be trying to do this or trying to be that. I'm going to be Cecilia, and for me, that's more than good enough.
And I think people respect it more because, for example, I feel a lot between, okay, not between men, but there's a lot more fluff and a lot more bull, right? Well, me as a woman, when I go in there, I'm like, I'm going to tell you how